Okay, so when did your creative journey begin?
I don't know, maybe birth.
Birth?
That was so creative for my mom and my
Yeah.
father to put together immaculate conception.
Okay.
I was like, yo, that's really awesome. But I guess I'm not the typical artist, but I, in the status quo of becoming an artist, because I feel like I've always been an artist, and everybody's an artist. It's just coming to that realization, and I think it's because how I think of artistry is that it's just an articulation of your life. You articulate it into maybe a poem. You articulate it into a sculpture. You articulate your situation and your environment into something
Yeah.
that people can look at or observe or attain for, uh, a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So there's so many twists and turns. Maybe in high school, I took a short writing class, and that introduced me into like saying my poems to people uh, in in person, and I ended up having to do it in front of in my entire audience in high school.
Yeah.
There was a performance, and they had me come and do one of the poems that I wrote in the short writing class. And I did the poem, and people really loved it. And I knew that it was important to share the information and the feelings that I had.
Being an artist is so much more than just like having one medium that you select that you do full time.
And I'm a weird artist.
But
I'm
you're
a
not.
weird
You're
artist because
just
I'll jump from everything. That's why now I consider myself a storyteller. And I feel like I can sit in someone's life or business, digest it, and then make a story out of whatever they just told me. But my version might be better than the version that they
Yeah.
that they was saying.
Yeah.
Or I might just platform them on like a Creative Mornings and have them tell their story and be like, oh, okay, that's a great story. People need to hear this, just like people needed to hear my story. Where can I put them? Who can I connect them to so that that story lives within creative communities? Because it speaks to this entire umbrella.
Right.
People just haven't heard the story.
Yeah.
So I try to make these connections just to kind of, have the internet live outside of the internet,
Yeah.
do the internet in person,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, like let's make the network work like this, and kind of seeing that entire space as the canvas of creativity. Like, oh, this is San Diego, and people haven't necessarily painted this picture that I see from living in the South Bay, living in Barrio, seeing some of the best artists. Some of the best artists, you know what? It's a text message on my phone. They got a regular day job, but they sending me songs, or they sending me graphic designs, or they're sending me an email, and I'm like, yo, this is life changing. It's crazy. And sometimes they just need that. That's the motivation, to be acknowledged
Yeah.
and to be remembered in some sort of way. So I see that as important. And so that is part of my path
Yeah.
and my artistry, and to be creative is to tell other people about the creatives that I run into and make that into a beautiful story.
Yeah. We met at the Adobe event, but then I came to know you in the Creative Mornings as this incredible host. So, for those who don't know, what is Creative Mornings?
It's a breakfast lecture series. So imagine a TED Talk, but specifically to inspire creatives or to be about a creative and the path that they are on. The journeys that they've been to or been through to get to where they are. And it started with this woman named Tina in New York. And Tina Roth is her name. In 2008, she started it. And it was just there. And it's just a breakfast lecture series at 8 in the morning. There's free coffee, free donuts. And it's the last Friday of every month. And that's the format. And then it started to pop up.
Yeah.
And all these other cities.
Yeah.
And so 2026 now, there's about 240 plus chapters around the world. San Diego has the 8th biggest chapter.
Wow.
I've been hosting it for, the 8th biggest chapter in the world. And we're the 8th biggest city in the U.S. So I feel like the 8s are important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been hosting for either 5 or 6 years, and it's been in San Diego for 10 years. It's just proven to be a space where networking can happen in an authentic way, where you
Right.
build relationships with people that have come back every single time. People have called it church for creativity.
I love that.
People called it AA for creatives. I think that's a funny one. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
like that. It's sound a little offensive a little bit.
How and why did you decide to
The free donuts.
the free donuts?
The free donuts. I kept coming for the. I'd be telling people, I'd be joking, but it's true. I know where all the free food is. No, I was walking downtown one day and I saw this gigantic line. So I got in the line. It looked like it was not a bad line.
Okay.
Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
I got in line and then I came into the building. It was off of 17th Street. And when I got in there, everybody was talking, friendly. There was free coffee, free donuts. And since then, I think that was 2015. I just started to show up to these events. One of the events, I took a photo of myself and I said, I'm going to speak at this event in the future. And then I just kept on my own creative path.
Yeah.
I ended up opening up this space down in Barrio Logan called The Church. So people that know about The Church remember The Church. It was this space where art was my religion. And so many people related to this philosophy where they looked at their notepad more than they had anything else. And it's something that they were dedicated to day in and day out, almost like a religion. And so we opened up that spot in 2017 and people just started to know me in the creative community. So I went from, rapping, poetry to having a space where people could do that.
Yeah.
And we gave people free rent for the first year. We got free rent ourselves to help develop the space. We brought in Beatbox Records. I was running the studio, the Holyfield. We had a gallery space. We had a store that was there. The homie JR and all his homies from Mira Mesa came out there. And we started building up that space. And at the same time, I was still going to Creative Mornings. So when I was coming there, I had something really cool to show people. And I started to get known more and more in the creative space where not only is he an artist, but he can introduce me to this entire community of artists. So we did that till about 2018, maybe 17. And then at the same time, I started working at this place called BAM, PR and marketing firm.
Okay.
So I was at this interesting intersection as Nate was about to leave Creative Mornings. Nate ended up knowing my boss, Beck.
Okay.
And so I knew that he was about to leave before anybody else.
Okay.
And we started to build that relationship. And I was at the interesting intersection of knowing the tech and the PR and the communications realm, having opened up a space, which a lot of creatives have not done, and then also be tapped into the creative world. And so that intersection made me it made me stand out.
Yeah.
And then I started to build the relationship with Nate. And as that transition happened, plus me always showing up to Creative Mornings, that just had me standing out as the perfect candidate.
Yeah.
And it just happened. I want to say naturally, but it's like I'm always positioning myself for the coincidence to happen. I encourage people to position yourself for the coincidence to happen.
And you did it in the most, it's like all these things were aligning for you to be the perfect person to step in. But that's really cool. And I know that you did that intentionally, but it's just
Yeah, I did. It was intentional, but I was playing.
It's good to play.
But
That's what makes
play
it fun
is
too.
so
Yeah.
There's an intuition behind play. You have to be able to play in order to live.
Yeah.
A lot of times we have to play something in order to actually perform it in real life. And so I love manifestation, but I think there's something that's very tangible about the practice, because you have to be intentional about what you want to manifest. Is this something that you truly want? Is it something that's on your path? Is there an ego attached to the thing that you're trying to grab? because if there is, you might end up getting things that you don't want or reaching for things that you're never going to get because it was not part of your path.
Yeah.
I also deeply saw that as part of my path, and I saw the trajectory of what I was doing, the actions that I was going to take, and the voids that I saw missing in Creative Mornings.
Yeah.
It was mostly a white space. I wasn't seeing the voices that I was seeing in the hip hop community or in Barrio.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had something to bring to that area.
Yeah.
I knew that there was a voice that wasn't being spoken there and that I could bring to that, not just through my voice, but through all the people that I knew.
Yeah.
And especially that transition from an artist to opening up space.
Yeah.
Oh man, talking to like developers. Most artists don't talk to people like that.
Yeah.
So I was thrown into that situation just by happenstance. And so I had to learn to articulate the value of being from a space, because I have connections to Barrio down to like the 60s.
Yeah.
My great grandma moved there from Pensacola, Florida. So it's articulating this value that someone might have the money, they might have the this and the that, but they might not have the story that's connected to an area. And so finding that story within myself and positioning myself for anybody, that's important. Find your connection and that narrative capital or that social value that you have in whatever situation, that subject matter expertise that you have. That's a value that no one can put a number on. It's almost like fine art.
Yeah.
They throw a banana on the wall, it's $1 billion. That expertise has no price, so it's infinite. So I could step into a space like Creative Mornings and say, oh, well, I have an infinite value that's here and I can bring it here. I have an infinite value at the workspace that I work at. I have an infinite value in these creative communities, and positioning myself where that infinite value can really thrive and grow.
I'm excited to talk to you about your music. Can you tell me a little bit about the early days and like what drew you to that medium?
Oh, my radio broke.
Oh, really?
My radio broke,
Your
and then
answers
I would
are
just
so
start to
funny.
make my own music in the car. And then
Wow.
I showed my girlfriend at the time, and then she told other people. You know how girlfriends act like, their boyfriends are better than they are. She told all these people, and so I just had to do it.
Okay.
And then I was good, and I ran into this guy named Leon. He goes by Bam. He has a clothing brand called Huron Hughes.
Okay.
And so we just started making music. Like, we got on the phone and it was just sparks. It was just like minds. And we started this group called Brother Nature. We were out there at all the dive bars, at everything, rocking shows. And that was preparation for performing on any stage. And probably harder because you had to get everybody's hands in the air and everything like that.
Right.
And they got to wave them like they just don't care. And you see their arms are tired and everything. And so, yeah, but also the hip hop, that's a huge manifestation place where I sit and I think and I meditate with myself or with, say, Leon or with that group of people that are going to be making the music. That's a complete portal, completely spiritual space as well that, people call it music, but it's just like this. It's like interstellar when you're in there making music, especially that part where you're just listening to a beat. You're listening to a loop of rhythms and frequencies, and you're bobbing your head, and it's just quiet sometimes for hours. You're in a meditative flow state.
Yeah.
And you're transcending words that sometimes it doesn't even feel like it comes from you. It comes from this future self or this Sankufa where it's like past, present, future as well. And you're writing these things down. And so, I use a lot of the music as like a manifestation of myself trying to articulate the environments that I've been through, that my ancestors have been through, that my future ancestors have been through, and putting it through music so that other people can be put onto game of my experiences and my lineage's experiences. And I'll probably put out an album every 2 years. I try to stay as consistent as possible just to have that practice of the manifestation and to make room for more of it. But I probably have about 8 albums out right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
need to look at all of them. Tell me a little bit about the Holyfield, because I know that you just started this organization. What's your vision for it?
I want to help people tell better stories. I feel like people can tell better stories for their businesses, for their lives, for their careers, and through spaces and helping places like Creative Mornings or even BAM. I want to use the Holyfield in order to do that. And I use this space as like the Holyfield. People use the backyard. So we've had this place, this organization called the Park Takeover. Every first Sunday of the month, they use the backyard. They're very focused on the homeschool community.
Yeah.
And they have an artist come out and teach the youth how to do this artistry. So they'll have a painter come out. Last week they had a painter, and he had the kids put all these affirmations on like the canvas, and then they painted over it, and then they got these water balloons, and then they threw it at the canvas, and it like revealed part of their affirmations and everything. And so
cool.
every month they have a different artist that comes and teaches the youth, and it's about maybe 20, 30 kids every time.
I would love to come.
Oh yeah, it's fun. We got parties, we got functions back there, but
Is it open to everyone?
yeah, if you just hit me up, that's it. We can make it happen. It's like
Okay.
my version of, there's this rapper named La Russell, and he does hip hop shows in his backyard. But I'm like, you know what? My version would be like opening up my backyard just for like if anybody wants to collaborate.
Yeah.
Because people, artists need space.
I think a lot of people love the idea of doing this for themselves, for their community, for their people, but they don't know where to even like how to even go about it. What would you say like the best advice is to get started?
I call it like find your 8,000. Be on a mission to find your 8,000.
What do you mean by finding your 8,000?
If I'm doing the math right, if you're 1 in a million and there's 8 billion people in the world, then there's 8,000 of you.
Okay.
There's 8,000 of your people. So acknowledge that they're there. They're somewhere. You know, we have a tendency as humans to feel so alone, but you have to come to the realization that your people are there.
Yeah.
Now you're on a mission to find them. The mission has begun. The button pop, you know, you press the button. Now the mission is on. Where are my 8,000? It's like a Pokemon challenge or something. And I think that starts the journey of the fact that they're there. You know, how can I go and find them? It might be a Creative Mornings. It might be a Creative Exchange. It might be a meetup. There's so many places to meet people online. Where Threads, I'm seeing it thrive. I've used social media in a way that helps me meet people in person. Like I'll meet them online and I'll invite them to something that's in person, and I'll open up that resource sharing, because that's so transformative when you share information with people instead of withhold. And I'll say, look, if there's anything cool, invite me to it. And then now they're sharing information with me, and then I'm sharing information with them.
I want to know what your secret is to creative productivity. How are you staying so productive?
Someone
let me
asked
know.
What they said, oh, because people always bring up Adderall,
Okay.
and I've never had it before, and then I was like,
know if you need it.
I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I said I don't want to be too productive.
What do you mean? You're already so productive.
I know that part was funny to me. But I don't want to be too productive. It's enough.
You gotta have some
that's
balance.
a trick. I think there's a trick to
Yeah.
not want to be too productive. Or I also don't want a perfectionism to what I do. And I oddly think that that's an encouragement. When people see me up there, they're like, oh, she's just a regular dude up there. It's not like, I'm definitely not perfect at what I do. I might be enthusiastic and have fun and play with those situations. But I think I see a lot of the situations as play, and it'll just get done. You just have to go and start the mission.
Yeah.
And there might not be, I'm very loose with my artistry.
Okay.
Like it might not, the song might not be what I imagined it to be in the first place. And so getting rid of that expectation is part of the practice of artistry. because it's a practice of release and not perfection. Because perfection doesn't exist. Say you release something, maybe. I know some artists, sometimes it's me working on something for like 10 years. And then, the juice ain't worth the squeeze to be such a perfectionist. To me. The juice is never worth the squeeze. And the practice is worth the squeeze.
I really like that. Because I think we have this fear that what we put out, if it's not amazing, then we're not good. And that's not really the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I like more when people don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, because then there's this, if they're open to it, there's this conversation of, oh, what's there that you didn't like? And this is why I did this. But that's part of the practice.
Yeah.
That's part of the practice. It's like it's a practice of having no fear.
Yeah.
When you really get into the artistry, even if someone has an issue with it, there's still not you have this. I'm not doubting myself, but I'm like, let me see what you think of this. Some people will love it. Some people are going to hate it. Those 8,000 are going to love it. You just got to find them.
Yeah.
8,000 going to love it. They're going to like, oh my God. Oh my God. But there's a lot of people in the world. So there'll probably be a lot of people that end up not liking it.
Yeah.
And it just gives you that opportunity to see why.
When did you decide to pursue art or creativity as a career?
I don't know. Maybe, I guess it was a big step when I said I'm going to open up a space.
Okay.
And that's a kind of an interesting story. When we did that, that was completely jumping in. And at one point, we opened up the church right up there on Lowrider Lane. And the 4 people that were inside of the church working there, we all lived upstairs. I moved in with my mentor, Frank Luna, and then I was living with JR. We all lived there, so we basically said we just gonna be dedicated to this until it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to jump in all the way. You might not have to jump in all the way for the rest of your life because life changes. But that was a big moment where I said, I can do this and kind of see what happens. The whole theme was fuck it. That was the theme at that point. But I think opening up a space was a path where it was like, oh, I can make this a possible thing. People can be receptive to it.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I'd say that was a big moment. And in that moment, I was invited to the Grammys through Delta Airlines. They had this program with Ryan Lewis, Macklemore's producer.
Okay.
And so I'm running the church down there. I get invited to this process. I fill out the application. I go through the journey. I do the interview and everything. And I'm just real in the interview. I'm talking about my life and my experiences and my family. They invite me out to the Grammys. I fly in the air with Ryan Lewis, and the whole theme is that flying is not just, you don't just fly, you never know who you're going to sit next to. And so we just had a conversation. I showed him my music. He loved my music. And that was like a recognition that was outside of myself, I guess, that it was like, oh, wow, this can be recognized, and people recognize this as something that can influence people, that could be in alignment with Delta Airlines and the Grammys. Like this is big. This is really big. And then I'll say this one. I made an album with my favorite rapper. His name is Blue.
Okay.
And that was a magical moment. Once I did that, I said to myself, oh, I could just do anything. It doesn't, I could touch the sky.
Okay. What is a question you wish people asked you more often, and how would you answer it?
Where can I get free food at? I'd be like, yo, I've been waiting. I've been waiting. I'd be like, yo, first go to the church. Church always is giving pizza. You just got to listen. Creative Mornings, donuts. Go to some like city planning meeting or something. They'll probably have free food. I got a list.
Okay.
All those reader events that I said I would pick up the reader and go to, they had free food.
You might be getting texts from me every now and then. Free food.
Whenever people want you to listen to something, there's usually free food.
That's true.
But MLMs, multi-level marketers, they don't usually have food.
What the heck?
I would tell them get better food because I went to those meetings and I was very disappointed.